So, welcome to my video blog for my leadership at management class at Missouri Baptist University. I hope you all can hear me. The first video that I tried to upload did not work out very well because the sound quality was very bad. So I'm making a new video for my video blog for this class. But my video blog today, I really wanted to talk about what is the best style of management style. I've taken a look at a couple different programs in college sports, and I really wanted to, as well as pro sports as well, because I really wanted to dive deep into the thought of, okay, what is the best style, management style that can produce the most victories in the sense. I looked at say Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, both very similar coaches. They kind of have that authority complex at the end of the day, and this is all speculation of from what I've read, I've heard, all just other outside sources from actually being in the system. So it's one of those things that's it's all speculation, but this is how we're perceiving it in that sense. So I look at Nick Saban and both Bill Belichick as having that authority compliance management style where it's them. They're kind of dictators in that sense, and they demand a lot from their players at the end of the day, because they're very task management. And I think that also it goes without saying is they do have the team management style because as much as they do care about the tasks, they do care about the interpersonal relationships, especially Nick Saban. Before the last couple of years, he was very uptight, especially in press conferences and stuff, and you didn't really know if his players liked him. He always seemed like he was just always angry, especially when you're watching the games that Alabama was playing. He's always yelling and screaming, but he's a lot more relaxed when he's opened up in some interviews, and that he really does care about his players, and his players they have a connection. They have a personal relationship with him. It's not just him yelling and screaming. So I think that's one of the biggest things that why he's been so successful is he's had that authority compliance management style that he really cares about getting the task done, and he puts a huge emphasis on tasks, but he also has a team management where he creates those interpersonal relationships with his best players that elevates them to the highest degree. And then I looked at somebody, Coach Calipari, who is the head men's basketball coach at University in Kentucky, and in years past, you could say that these basketball coaches, their number one goal is to win a national championship, and if you're at a blue blood program like a Kentucky, well, if you don't win a national championship, then it's really, when are you going to do it? But I think it's a little bit opposite. That's what they say to the media. Yeah, we want to win a national championship, because I think at the end of the day, they do want to win a national championship. But someone like Coach Calipari, who's at blue blood program where you're going to get the top players in the nation who are looking to go to the NBA, you have a more country club style management style, because you're really creating relationships with your players, because they're going to be gone in a year. And you want to get them ready for the NBA rather than going out and winning a national championship. Yeah, you're going to try because you have the best players in the nation. You should make deep runs, essentially, in the NCAA tournament. But it's a lot harder. The field is a lot stronger. It's as the NBA would say, it's a make or miss league, where you could be playing a 16 seed round one, and you lose because you just don't shoot the ball well. So and we've seen that in a couple of years ago, where 16 seed beat the University of Virginia, who was the number one seed, probably the team that was going to go win the national championship. I mean, they won the national championship the next year, But it goes without saying that, it's a make or miss league. You can easily, you know, just not be your night, and you're bounced out of the tournament. So I really think that he has that country club style management. And I read his book, and he does really care about his players. It was, I believe it was in December, when at one of his first years in Kentucky, that he was having players sleep over at his house, because the dorms were closed during, right before Christmas, and the school wasn't allowing them to live in their dorms. So he had a bunch of guys stay over for before Christmas, because they were playing, a couple days after Christmas, and just stay at his house. They're all sleeping on the floor in sleeping bags. He goes above and beyond to make an effort for these guys. Yeah, he could have probably put them up in the hotel and all that stuff, but giving somebody your floor to sleep on, in your house, I think goes goes above and beyond, and that's where you really create those strong bonds. So he also probably falls into that paternalism and maternalism, style, because he does create a family mentality, even if it's year one. But a lot of his guys, if you ask them, which I've seen in interviews, they ask about Coach Calipari, is they speak very highly of him. Like, that one year that they spent with him is one of the best that they've ever had, where they learned a lot, as well as he took care of them, and he's really making young men ready for the NBA, in that sense of just being an adult, as well as a high draft pick, so they can get their money and they can be successful in the NBA. And then lastly, I just kind of wanted to talk about opportunism. In the definition in our book, opportunism refers to a leader using any combination of the basic five styles for purpose or personal advancement. An opportunistic leader will adapt and shift his or his behaviors to gain personal advancement, putting self-interest ahead of its priorities. Both performance and the effort of the leaders are also realized in personal gain. Some phrases used to describe this leadership behavior includes ruthlessness, cunning, self-motivation, while some could argue that these type of leaders are adaptive and strategic. So I have two examples that I think, kind of demonstrate that. If we take the ruthless, cunning, and self-motivated, I think if you look at Lane Kiffin, for example, he's currently the head coach of University of Mississippi, or Ole Miss, but he's kind of had an interesting road. He was fired at Alabama after helping them win a couple national championships. He went down to FAU, Florida Atlantic University, where he's always been a guy who's gonna get on Twitter, and he's gonna troll, and he's gonna say what he wants to say, because at the end of the day, it all comes back on him, and that's the biggest thing for him is he's very self-motivated, that he knows that he wants to get back to the top level, and he's going to push people down, to get there, and that he built FAU up for 2 years, and then he got this Ole Miss job because he knows how to coach, but his self-interest is the highest thing, and that's why he's an opportunist. And then if I look at you look at Nick Saban, for example. If you look at Nick Saban, for example, you could say that he is also an opportunist, being adaptable and strategic on the other end of, the spectrum, because his offensive side was very boring. It was very slow paced, up until a couple years ago, when he hired Lane Kiffin to change up the offense, which was more of the norm to what, college football was moving towards, in that sense. So, coming back to the end, coming full circle, it's asking yourself is, what's the best style? And, I don't really think that there is the best style. I think what works best for you in the program that you're at. You can always be an opportunistic in that self-motivating, cunning, and ruthless, and kind of jump from school to school, until you find the right spot that you wanna create some roots in. But it really depends on what sport you're playing, and the type of program that you're building. At the end of the day, what management style you kind of take. obviously impoverished management should never be an example, but we have seen that happen. You take Bill O'Brien at the Houston Texans. He kind of took on that role of an impoverished management where he just didn't care about the players and he didn't care about the task. And well, look now, he's sitting at home on Sundays watching football like the rest of us. But yeah, that's my video blog for the week, and I hope you enjoyed.